there. Hi. How are you?
I am good.
Good.
Living the night off life right now.
Yeah, this is it. Hanging out with comedians on the side. Everybody, my name is Jess Miller. I am a comedian in Springfield, Mass. And this right here is Kai McNamara, who is a registered nurse who works in the ER at Holyoke Medical Hospital. And she's also the president of the Pioneer Valley chapter of Emergency Nurses Association. Did I do that right?
You did good.
I did good. I didn't stutter too bad. So I reached out to Kai, I think it was last week or so, maybe the week before, to maybe do a talk like this. I mean, half naked conversations with comedians. I'm usually the only one that's half naked. And I've actually been more half naked with nurses than I have with my wife. So that's probably not a good thing. But I wanted to reach out to you because I know a lot of people have questions, and I know that you were trying to put out some information. And so I was hoping to kind of give you a little bit bigger of a platform to do that with, whatever I have. So let's talk.
All right, I'm ready.
Tell me a little bit about you and what you do and how long you've been a nurse for.
All right. So I am an emergency nurse. I absolutely love it. And I got more involved into the emergency nursing scene when I started at Holyoke Medical Center. I had a really wonderful nurse precepting me. She was this strong woman, strong personality. It was Carol, but she's Jamaican, and she is powerful, man. She's real powerful. And,
nice.
She wanted to get me involved, and she was involved in the Emergency Nurses Association. And she went to a chapter meeting, and she came back one day, and I asked her how it went, and she had told me that she elected me for a position.
Wow.
And I was scared of her. And also had a ton of respect for her. So I was like, I remember calling my girlfriends, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to do this. I'm quitting. And it is like one of the best parts of my life right now, honestly. Awesome. It's brought me so many opportunities to travel, meet other nurses I respect, educate nurses in the community, educate the community, do things like this.
Right.
It's a really good example to me that most of my best ideas don't come from myself. They come from the people around me. So I've been at Holyoke Medical Center for just about 2 years now, and I work nights. I'm a night shift nurse. So I just love what I do.
That's very cool.
If I won the lottery, I would do it for free. Very, very less than I do now.
I would do a lot of things for free if I won the lottery. Patty Minnick says, hi, Kai.
Hi, Patty.
And Bruce Frady, heart back.
Heart. Here's Moo, the emergency cat.
Oh, this is her name is Moo?
Yeah, she's black and white and fat like a cow.
I love it. I love it.
Moo Kitty.
Cool. So we're gonna have a few kitten cameos. But let's talk about the stuff that's going on. For those of you who are joining, I see you, Stephanie, Susan, Timothy, Ann, Diane, Lola. Hi, Lola, Patty, Jackie, Abby, and Bruce. Thank you for joining us. Please, feel free to ask a question if you have one as we're moving through this. We've been doing this for about 2 months now, I would say. We've been in the thick of it, right? Yeah. So I know I've been home for 2 months, and I think you said they shut down Holyoke Medical around the 10th of March.
Yeah, I was supposed to do a step lead class that day, and that was the first day that we got notification that we weren't going to have any outside vendors or anything like that come in. So for me, that's kind of the day that it started.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I think that was like maybe a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
A Tuesday.
Was it a Tuesday?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. Well, my last day of stand-up was a Saturday, and that was the 7th. So
yeah,
figured I had to be really close there. How are you doing as a nurse? Like, just in general, how are you doing?
I've kind of coined this phrase that I respond to everyone with, that is, we're all going through a really hard time right now. So when we crab at each other or anything like that, I'm like, this is a really hard time for everyone. And it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
We have, within a couple months, ER nurses have become hospice nurses. We've become nursing home nurses. We're just doing a lot of different things that we haven't done. And if my heart breaks for other ER nurses, it breaks even harder for ICU nurses right now.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. So how are you and other nurses like holding it together? Is it just kind of like adrenaline based at this point?
I think
or are you starting to calm down? And it's like, because I worry about you guys,
I know I'm very grateful. I have a great support network around me. I mean, from coming out of my front door to go to work one day where there was a cooler full of food, flowers, and a Guns N' Roses CD. So I'm like, okay, they know me.
That's Guns N' Roses CD. That's it. Yeah.
Girlfriends of mine making masks for my coworkers, caps, people. I'm getting donations of shoe covers, hand sanitizer, all that. And, I was thinking the other day, one thing it has brought to the emergency department, at least my group of people on nights, is camaraderie. The other morning, we all sat and had breakfast together after our shift. Oh, wow.
Wow. So this is the comic relief, is the cat, which I absolutely love.
I have a lot of control at work, but apparently at home with a 4-year-old feline.
But that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Thanks, Moo. So, we definitely have a sense of camaraderie through it, because we've never faced things like this before. And you can be disaster prepared.
Yeah.
But we weren't prepared. Like, mentally, we weren't prepared for this.
Yeah. In general, do you guys think that you were prepared at all?
So I will say that I think my hospital has gone above and beyond for our PPE. There has not been one time during this that I have thought to myself, like, wow, I don't feel protected. And that has meant the world. There's been a lot of talk about people getting hazard pay and hospitals getting food delivered. Like, I would rather be protected against a potentially fatal virus than have some cookies.
Yeah.
I do love cookies, though.
You do love cookies. So
those donations need to come to the house.
Cookie donations go to the house, not the hospital. Because Holyoke Medical isn't actually accepting food donations, right?
We are not. I know that some.
Is that just the ER department, or is that the entire hospital?
The whole hospital. We're not even allowed to order out. Like, that's how much they. Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because I know people are starting to feel a little bit more relaxed as we're going through this, and as states start reopening. And I'm not relaxed at all. I am not a relaxed person. No. I look very relaxed. When it comes to germs, I am a not relaxed person. Yeah. I'm like, I picture where the fingerprints have been. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't think I'm not leaving the house. So that's me, though. So I was talking to my friend Kelly McFarland last night, who's also a comedian, and we're both rule followers. We're both like, nope, I can stay home. It's cool. Right. What do you say to people who are having they're hanging out, they're having driveway parties, or they're going to the park? Should they wear masks? If you go over, you can't, there's a lot of people that are just by themselves, and it's been 2 months. It's a long time. And so, I would imagine mental health issues are starting to happen. Right. So if they needed to go, so two questions here. If they wanted to go to see someone or something, how do they do that safely? One, should they? Two, And 3, what about people who are just getting together and not wearing masks and just hanging out in driveways and stuff like that?
All right, I got a lot to say, so get ready. So you said something about the fingerprints. So something I want people to think about is glitter. Think about dipping both of your hands in glitter. And, you know, that glitter is COVID-19. So everything you touch from that point on, where that glitter goes.
Good analogy.
So, you know, that's one thing to think about. The other thing is, like, the ERs are still open. Absolutely. I've heard things about people that are victims of sexual assault not wanting to come into the department because they're afraid that they're going to catch it. I've had parents bring in children with a fractured arm, and the mother is crying, one, because she's scared for her child, but 2, right, she's scared that they're both going to get it. And I want people to know that we are doing our best to protect everyone against it. We have, you know, our COVID positive patients are in specific areas. The environmental services people at hospitals are the real MVPs right now, like wow, cleaning from ceiling to floor. So we are doing our part to really stay safe. And I know in my department, we haven't had this big, you know, group of people get sick or anything like that because we are being so careful. But at the same time, and I'll go a little off cuff, my compassion is very small if you were social distancing in a driveway party and broke your wrist playing cornhole while you were drunk during a pandemic.
Has that happened? Well, I feel like that's happened, perhaps.
I mean, maybe not the whole thing, but there's definitely a lot of pieces of the recipe there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I have not been a fan of the people who are protesting. I'm very much a fan of getting this thing locked down and contained and right, not spreading, because I don't know when I'll be able to go back to work, and I would like to be able to do that, but you know, not at the expense of anybody else.
Right.
You know, so, and I think that that's probably one of your biggest things, your biggest concerns is using proper, like, wear your mask properly. Like, we can talk about that. How do you put your mask on? Right. Should you use your gloves more than once? You know, like, what are the proper things that people can do? Because there are people that have to leave their house. There are people that right, are still going to work. How do they stay safe? How do they keep themselves safe and keep their, you know, people that they're staying home with safe?
So like a prime example is my mother. She's also a nurse. She's 70 years old and she has respiratory issues. We had a conversation that she's not working right now. And I'm like, you do not need to leave the house unless you're going to the doctor's, right? So I have to go out to do our shopping. But what that looks like is I minimize the amount of times that I go to the store. So I will go every 2 weeks, you know, do a really big shopping. You know, there's no reason not to wear a mask. You know, you're not going to be harmed wearing a mask. You're not only protecting yourself from anything that you might be coming in contact with, but you're protecting the people around you for what you may have and not know. So a mask or a face covering that needs to cover your nose and your mouth.
I notice a lot of people, especially on TV, a lot of reporters, some of them will wear the mask and then others will just pull it down below their chin. What is it like? Is that defeating the purpose, or are you like actually making it worse because whatever you have on the outside is now on your hands or whatever? And you know, so this is the glitter thing. I love the glitter analogy. It's fantastic.
So I was thinking the other day, because at work I put a fresh mask on and I went to the bathroom and I pulled it down and I was like, this is a great double chin covering. But like that is about as much as it protects you against, right? Like it will cover this, but for us more so, we're coming in contact with fluids and stuff like that. So we might potentially have stuff on the outside of our mask. So it kills me when I see people, you know, at my hospital, we wear respirators when we're within 6 feet of a patient. So, you know, they unclip the respirator and put it on their front of their, it drops down to the front of their scrubs. And I'm like, so it's hard. I mean, I can tell you I'm not perfect at it, but we have to.
Lola, so it's like wearing a condom with the tip cut off. Keep your mask on your face.
Keep your mask on your face. And the gloves.
I have this as a PG rated show so that anybody can watch it. And I'm actually trying to be very, very good. And Lola, you get the first joke of the night. That was good.
As far as the gloves, those are effective if you are changing them constantly.
Right.
So same thing. Think about, I mean, they're protecting you, but if you touch something that has it on there and then you get in your car and you touch it. Oh, speaking of car, please stop wearing your masks when you're alone in the car driving.
Oh, you don't have to?
No, if you're alone in the car, you can take them off. Get a breather.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that bothering you?
Unless there's someone there that I don't see.
I know Stephanie, my wife, will actually, once she puts the mask on, she doesn't touch it.
Well, that's a good point too.
So once she starts, if she has to make a couple of stops, she will not touch the mask. So she will actually drive with the mask on.
All right, maybe I didn't think about that part, but this is like me after a 12-hour shift and everything sucks. And I'm like,
I appreciate you for coming in here and having these conversations because it can get really confusing with all the information out there.
Yeah.
I saw a video that wearing a mask and breathing in your own germs can make you sick.
That if you have the germs, you have the germs. Breathing them out doesn't get rid of them.
So using the mask is not going to make you sick?
No.
Okay.
I will say some of us, and this is, wearing the mask all shift at work, I notice sometimes I'll have a headache after, or, my chest hurts a little bit, but it's like that, it goes back to one of those things, like, all right, I would rather have a headache than have COVID.
Yeah.
So you got to take the good with the bad, it's a very good form of protection. Also our faces are breaking down from the mask too. And like, that's very real, but we've gotten donations at work of face wipes, lotions.
Your faces are breaking down because of the masks?
So when we wear the respirator, it covers like this, and it needs to be like a very good fit for you to have complete protection. So it's rubbing on this hole right here, so it's breaking down. I have my first pimple right now. I know you can't see it.
You have your very first pimple ever in your entire life?
No, my first pimple since I was 16, which was about 3 years ago. So.
You're 19 years old?
Well, I can't lie, but no. I shouldn't have pimples at this age.
Yeah, you'll be surprised what happens when you hit my age. Oh, maybe you're not because you're a nurse.
See it all.
You've seen it all, so
I'm fully aware of what the future holds for me.
It's not good. Oh, it's very interesting. So, how are you guys getting tested? Like, have you been tested, or like what's the process for you as a nurse treating, like?
So as far as I know, and as for my hospital, we are not being tested unless we're symptomatic at this point. I know that there will be antibody testing in the future. I think some of the area hospitals might have done a little wave of that. I'm not sure. But we aren't tested unless we have some type of COVID-19 symptom. We've all been advised to be checking our temperatures twice a day, which I do, kind of logging any symptoms.
What are the symptoms, just so that people are clear? Because
it's changed a lot. So initially, when we first started hearing about COVID-19, it was, a fever and a dry cough. And then you heard about a headache, Then you heard about nausea, vomiting, and then diarrhea. Then you heard about people that only had a headache and didn't have those other things. Now we're seeing people that have a rash with it. So it is ever evolving. And that is why it's a good, whether I'm at work or I'm at home, it's a good idea to treat everyone like they have it until proven otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. So gotcha. Yeah. I do that anyway. So
yeah, I mean, that's why I do it. You know, I've had patients at work where they come in for one thing and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, let me get a chest x-ray. You get that chest x-ray back and you're like, I'm glad that I followed the same precautions every time for every patient.
Wow, no kidding. You broke up there a little bit in the middle, so I didn't get all of it.
Yeah.
You guys heard, I heard chest x-ray. Someone will come in for something, get a chest x-ray, and do they get diagnosed with COVID?
You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up now?
So if they get, I think we're coming back together.
Yeah, okay.
So someone will come in for a reason that you don't think is COVID, and you know, they'll go have a chest x-ray or more will be revealed, and you end up finding out that they probably do have it.
Wow.
So
what are like the biggest concerns you guys have when someone comes in? Like, I feel like I wouldn't want to go into an ER at this point. I'm good.
Right.
I'm good. But that's
But
not.
how do you think, if you had, you know, crushing chest pain tonight and you were pale and sweaty, would you feel okay to go?
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
I would second guess it. Yeah.
That's what we don't want people to do, because we're seeing people that, you know, especially like people that have strokes. There's a 4-hour window that we want you to come in within so we can give you a medicine that could potentially reverse any disability that you can have from a stroke. But it's a 4-hour window.
Right. So if people aren't feeling well, if they feel like they're having a stroke, or someone thinks that they're having a stroke, or someone's feeling like they're having a heart attack, is it better to drive yourself to the hospital or call an ambulance?
So this is what I've been saying, and I don't know if my hospital would like me saying it, but I think, like, if you need to call an ambulance to get to the hospital, that's a good reason for you to come in. Okay. So like if you have an ingrown toenail, you should call your primary care provider, because you wouldn't call an ambulance for ingrown toe.
Right.
So that kind of thing. But, you know, if you had this sudden, you know, you woke up and looked in the mirror and you had a facial droop that wasn't there before, you know, and you couldn't speak, like, you would call the ambulance. So that's a good reason to come to the ER.
All right. And so what you're saying is the ER is actually pretty safe right now.
I think for people that really need to be there, it's a safe place, but I think it can quickly not become a safe place if we're overrun by non-emergent type things. Okay,
gotcha. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I want to switch to talking to you about one, the Soldiers Home, and two, elderly patients. What are your thoughts? Soldiers Home is a tough one. I know a friend of mine lost her husband there. So that was, I mean, and that's pretty sad. I don't know how you guys are dealing with it. I know I'm not in it, so it's a lot different for me than having your perspective, but it's like, that's kind of soul crushing just to think about it for me. So I don't know how you guys are dealing with it.
So I know that, so my hospital actually closed down our maternity ward and used some of the outpatient space that we weren't using, and put hospital beds in there, and we welcomed patients from the Soldiers Home. I think we took 40 or 50 veterans from the Soldiers Home. So that, I mean, I have goosebumps when I talk about it, because I feel like it was a hard decision, but it was the right thing to do at the time.
Right.
And I think when people talk about, you know, this isn't necessary, and, you know, everyone, wants to go out to dinner and get their hair done and all that. I want people to think that the soldiers' homes, those are our veterans that fought for our freedom. They lost almost half of their census.
Wow.
That's huge. That's one place. So this is, it's affecting everyone, but it's killing the elderly.
Right.
So, and I've been saying a lot lately, like, your grandma doesn't need to die for us to take this seriously.
Right.
It's here. Like, let's deal with it. It's a real thing. And, like, let's move forward with that. I think that, I don't know, I wouldn't personally cast any blame on anyone there, because this is a hard situation. And when you're in a nursing home, like, I don't know how you prevent the spread in that type of area,
Right.
So I'm sure there's a lot to be said. I don't have an opinion
There's
on
a lot
otherwise.
to be learned. There's a lot to be learned about preventing spread. This is a huge teaching experience.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not one that anybody wanted to have, but now we have it. So it was fantastic that you made room for the. Yeah, I agree, Paul. I think it was really great that they made room for the veterans from the soldiers' home, because they really did need to go somewhere. I mean, I know one person that works there. She was positive, so she quarantined. And I mean, I have heard that I have 3 friends that work at Bay State ER. All 3 tested positive.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were out for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of them's still out. Maybe 2 of them are still out, but
that's the other thing. People are casting so many stones on the nursing homes, and I'm like, you think about someone that's in a nursing home. They've been there anywhere from 1 month to 10 years.
Right.
And you go in 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, and you care for these people, you really start to love them.
Right.
I think about the people that I see over and over again that come into the ER. While some of them might make you a little nutty, you still care about them. And that's nowhere near, taking care of someone like they do in a nursing home. So
right.
Those people are getting sick, like the employees are getting sick, and they're watching people that they've cared for and learned about and know their family die.
Right. And they're doing it in very difficult circumstances where most of the family can't be with them.
Yeah.
Are you guys experiencing a lot of that? As far as, I mean,
I experienced it.
Yeah.
And it was really hard, because we're like, right now, it's huge that when someone's passing away, or if someone comes in and they're coding and you're trying to bring them back, and it's made clear that that's not going to happen. We like to bring the family in, have family presence. So not only can the family have a sense of closure, but you can really see that we are doing everything we can.
Right.
So that's being taken away from people. And, it's just really hard. So that, and, a lot of the time, my experience of being an ER nurse and going through a death with a patient is helping the family go through that, right? Like, you might work a code for 45 minutes, but you might be with the family after the code for a couple hours sometimes, right. Like, if that time is available to you. So that's not happening. And, I know a lot of people are saying their families are dying alone and stuff like that. And I have a good friend that's a nurse in the ICU there, and she was taking care of a patient I had. And she wanted to reassure me that she was with him when he died. And I know, to the best of our ability, if we've put someone on comfort measures or they're a DNR and we know what's happening, we are going to be with them, right, to the best of our ability. So
I think I'm getting attacked by my cat. I think
mine is taunting me on the other side of the computer.
She's like, I'm coming. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing what you guys do. I don't have you had any time off in the past 2 months?
So I like to do my time in spurts. So I'll do like a few days and then have a few days off. I didn't initially, when this started, pick up a ton of time, because I was pretty sure what was going to happen is happening now. Like, people are getting tired. Some people are getting sick. So people are getting floated and stuff like that. So now, Next week I'll be doing like 5 on, 2 off, 5 on, like that. So
wow. And those are what, 12-hour days?
Yeah, but I also will be buying a Peloton bike and laying on a beach somewhere in 6 months. I'll tell you that.
I hope that you are, because I think that you'll deserve it. I think you already deserve it. What is I was gonna ask you a different question, something along the lines, and I completely forgot. I'll come back to that one. We were talking earlier about a nurse getting assaulted for going into a grocery store in scrubs.
Right.
She was on her way into work, got assaulted because people got scared that she was sick or bringing in the germs, and then they assaulted her.
Right.
What do you have to say about that? I feel, and I got to interrupt because I'm going to interrupt myself for 1 second because I feel like I'm doing a very good Rachel Maddow right now. With a hat and glasses on. It's a very laid back, larger version of Rachel Maddow, but I'm doing the best I can. So yeah, so that's something that we talked about before we went live. What can we do?
I see that Beth just made a comment that I wanted to reference about letting family members in. So the hospitals we have changed some of those policies that if we know that someone is going to die, say we're extubating them or something like that. If it is a situation where a family member can come in,
yeah,
this is more so people that have been admitted, like people that have been in the ICU for a while. We will bring them into the hospital. They go into our command center. Here she is. Look at her. Hi.
So cute.
Oh. So my mom doesn't have kids, so she makes me wear sweaters. Get down there. So we will have them go to the command center. They go in full PPE. We're protecting them the best that we can. So those kinds of adjustments have been made. But okay, so the scrub thing.
Yeah, that sounds awful. So
we are not the enemy, people. I mean, it has been rough some days. I have initially when this first started, I had we have a position where you stand at the front door and you're screening people that are coming in, asking them what their symptoms are. We will allow one family member to be in the waiting room for them. Like that person will never go beyond to the department, but I need to take their temperature. You know, I had someone tell me they hoped I got COVID and died. Like, this is not the majority of the things, but like we are facing people that are angry and don't think this is real. Or they think that we're just out spreading it around. So I know at my hospital, they have started offering us scrubs. So you can go in there and change into the hospital scrubs, and then you change when your shift is done. Or like for me, so I live alone, so I usually will drive to work in my scrubs, and then I'll either change into something before I leave, or I will, you know, I come home and I have like a whole decontamination area in the garage,
right,
where I just,
we have that too.
I have Lysol in my car, hand sanitizer, all that.
Right.
Yeah, so
I think the majority of people are probably extremely grateful for the work that you're doing. And there are maybe, there's a group of people that think that this is all fake. And that was one of the things, like, right. You are a nurse, you are seeing this, and you can tell me and the people that are on my Facebook page or wherever they're seeing us right now, is it actually fake? Like, is it, you guys are making this stuff up?
I wish we were. I really wish that we weren't having to live through this.
So what do you say to people who don't want to do social distancing or wear their masks or stay away from other people? Because it's, I don't know. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you is, what is the symptom, the timelines for the symptoms from like the time you get contaminated until the time you actually become symptomatic?
So the other thing about that is that you can be an asymptomatic carrier. So
Okay.
you can have it and not know. So that goes back to the whole treating everyone like they do have it type of thing.
Right.
And the symptoms vary from person to person. Like I said, I have a friend that she had a younger cousin, like mid-20s, that had it. His only symptom was a headache.
Wow.
So
are there lesser or more extreme versions of it?
Or
is it just kind of like mutating as it goes along?
I think that may be a case. I mean, these are just kind of opinions and some educated facts, but a lot of it is your immune system, your age, your comorbidities, which are like your pre-existing conditions.
Right.
How healthy are you? Stuff like that. I mean, I can tell you that, like my mother, 70-year-old woman, a lot of respiratory problems, not very active other than working. It would not be good if she had it.
Right.
That would not end well for her.
Right.
If I got it, I think I would probably be sick, but I don't know if I would end up as badly as maybe she would. I don't have any of those pre-existing conditions. I stay relatively healthy. I exercise, stuff like that. So.
Right. I must say, when I take the dogs to Forest Park for a walk, many people aren't wearing masks, and it blows my mind. So that's a good thing. That's a good question. Should people be wearing their mask at parks? And from your perspective, like if you were to go to a park, would you wear a mask as a nurse?
Yes.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
You don't know how close you're going to get to someone.
Okay.
Like or you just someone. Never, or someone will get to you. You just never know. And, if same thing, follow the same procedure every time. So it will become a habit for you. And I'm amazed at the people that aren't wearing masks, or when people come into the hospital now, we're putting masks on them.
Yeah, I would imagine right away.
Yeah, and people think, they'll be sitting there in a room with it down around their chin, and I'm like, please, for the love of God, pull that thing up.
Right. Yeah. The governor says you don't have to if you can safely distance. So safely distancing is a minimum of 6 feet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's been studies that have shown that it can travel 13 feet. So,
really? Well, if it's a sneeze, because a sneeze can travel 13 feet. I know this because I'm a germaphobe.
So I just wear it I hate wearing it. I had to wear it out today. I ran some errands today and I was sweating and
I feel like it's going to get worse for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like I won't leave the confines of my property line until I know that things are going down. Where are we at in Massachusetts right now? Do you have an idea about that, or is it just like Holyoke is your main area that you're concentrating on?
I'm really concentrating more so at my hospital, and now so we're seeing more when I'm working, I'm seeing more patients that are coming in from nursing homes or something like that are already known positive, and now they're having issues that we need to deal with. So
they're now just starting to test positive?
Well, no, there's someone like they've been at the nursing home and they were tested at the nursing home. They were positive at the nursing home. You knew they were positive for a week or two, but now they're having more respiratory problems and stuff like that.
Because they were asymptomatic. So they were tested initially?
No, so they were tested. They were positive.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, as things progress, they're coming in and they're requiring higher levels of care than can be given at the nursing home.
Okay, I gotcha. That's that's hard. I want to stay home. When should people stay home? I know a good example of that was your mom.
Yeah.
And Lola just said it's summer in other countries and it hasn't stopped the spread. So I think that's very true.
That was the other idea that, once the warm weather hit, that
it would disappear.
It was just going to go away. And
it was
that's probably not the case.
Yes, I don't see that happening.
I mean, I think stay home if you do not need to necessarily go out. Like there's been, you know, I don't want people to not go grocery shopping, but if you are older, you have respiratory issues, you have someone that can maybe do it for you, do that.
Right.
You know, the faster we go through the things that are a pain right now, the faster we'll be stopping this big spread.
Right. Do you guys have any ideas of how long it's going to take? Or like, do you have, it feels to me like it's going to be a very, very long time before this is over. Like it's just going to keep going through.
Yeah.
Especially as the social distancing practices are starting to loosen up and businesses are going to open. Like that's what worries me. Just from a comedian's perspective, I'm worried. I'm not a nurse. I have to say it. I'm not one.
Yeah.
I couldn't do what you do. I think you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
I tell jokes when I come into the hospital. If I have to come, I tell very inappropriate jokes to you guys.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. We talk about a lot at the hospital, like when do we think that we're going to go through like another peak of it?
Yeah.
And, you know, probably flu season-ish, but I don't see it going anywhere soon. Like this is something that we're going to have to learn to deal with and get through. At the same point, like I want to get out of the house.
Yeah.
For
I'm
the
sure
people
you
that
do.
know me, I love to travel. Like I'm about ready to just drag my suitcase around the kitchen at this point, just to like get that feeling. I want to get my hair done and my nails. Like I'm doing my own gel manicures at home.
That's amazing.
Right?
But how much money are you saving by doing that?
Enough that now I know better and I don't want to know better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just thought
I'm like, wow, I'm actually not poor. I just
you're just spending your money on everything.
Yeah. So I want to do all those things. You know, I have friends that we go out to dinner together every week and I miss them. But like I would feel terrible if one of them got sick because I, you know, had to go get my hair colored and then had to go see them, you know, type of thing. At the same point, I have friends that are hairstylists that are hurting financially. And I understand that it's real. So it's hard. Like I said, this is a really hard time for all of us.
It is. It's everybody. I don't think anybody's untouched by this.
No.
I just think that I think I've been worried about my biggest concerns when it comes to healthcare workers is I've been worried about the protests and how those are affecting you guys. And it's just nice to be able to talk to somebody who's in Western Mass, who is a nurse and is seeing stuff, you know, as it's actually happening for the past 2 months, and then have an idea of, you know, just stay home.
Yeah.
Let's all get through it. And like, I think you had mentioned, be patient and tolerant and kind with each other.
Right.
So like, that not happening or...
So was it you that I mentioned to before when I think when we were chatting before this, you had asked me like, how are we doing? And I said, I've kind of coined the phrase, like, this is a very hard time for all of us right now.
Yes.
Because tempers are short and, you know, people are going through financial hardships. People are dealing with losing family members and we snap at each other sometimes. I mean, even at work, we're very close. The group that I have on nights, is a bond that I have never found at a job before, but we still snap at each other. So I think at some point during a shift, you can hear me shout at the nurses station, like, this is a really hard time for all of us right now, which is like kind of an indication of like,
it's a safety word.
Yeah. I feel like mom and dad are fighting. So I need to like, or someone just hurt my feelings, you know? So.
Oh man, like I don't know how you're doing what you're doing with the amount of stress and pressure and gear. Like it's amazing. It really is.
We sweat. Oh my God, it's so hot. So hot. It really became real to me when, my mom is not an overly emotional person, and she's a nurse. So my mom is a nurse. Both of my aunts were nurses, and so was my uncle. So
wow.
This thing's in the family. And she called me one day and she said, when you were a little girl with curly hair sitting on my lap, I never would have thought that my daughter would be an ER nurse headed into work during a pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, the kind things people are doing for me. Like, those are the things I do for people. So for me to have them done, I'm like, oh wow, this is
it's weird,
real.
Right? Yeah. It's weird and it's real.
It's real. Yeah, it's very real.
For people who are listening or people who watch this later, what is something that we as just average people can do to help you guys? Like if people, I know that I wanted to say this, like, I know that, one, you're the president of the Pioneer Valley Emergency Nurses Association, and you guys are working on making grab bags for kids. So
yeah,
I think this is pretty amazing because not only are you trying to take care of people that are in the hospital, but you're still setting time aside to make grab bags for kids. And that's phenomenal. Like, that's above and beyond. So
when you had mentioned the donation portion of this, I'm like, what? Like, I didn't expect that part of it. So I'm like, oh, what can we do with that money? And talking to people that I work with, a lot of the people I work with have children. I don't have children. So, I mean, kudos to anyone that is working through this and you also have kids at home to take care of. Like, it's been a huge adjustment for everyone. Grocery bills are going up. They want to be entertained.
Right.
They need supplies to use at home that they would be using at school, stuff like that. So I was talking to my friend Kelly, and I'm like, what can we do? Like, can we make up some bags? Like, whether it's coloring books, some snack stuff, whatever it is. I think a few of us are going to brainstorm.
Cool.
I mean, if it were me, like, Auntie Kaya is going to put a 20 in and a cookie, and you're fine. But apparently kids need more than that. That's what people say.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the cookies. Trust me.
I just want to make mention that's the second time in 2 days that my best friend has offered me her children.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't want them. They're great, but I don't want them.
I don't have them either. So, but I mean, let me ask you a question, because I think this is going to come in. I think people are starting to break down with this stuff, right?
100%.
100%. So, like, I feel sidewalk chalk is a very good one.
Yeah.
How can people be supportive of people? I know, like, this helps me. I hope it helps other people. And, but as far as, like, I get depressed, like, and I would imagine that there's a lot of, like, I don't know if you guys are having a lot of, psychiatric illnesses coming in, or they're starting to, or like, what can people do to keep their mental health?
Well, I know
stable?
Even talking with my coworkers, they, their kids that went to school, they don't have that outlet. So nurses that work overnights are now going home, trying to take care of their kids. That's taken away from their sleep time. Right. And then they're coming to work and facing this. So it is tough. One thing I learned, years ago, a friend of mine told me, when someone reaches out to you and offers to help you, accept that offer. Don't deny it because you think you're big and bad. That letting them help you is doing as much for them as it is for you. So whether that's someone making you a mask, someone dropping you off food, anything like that, just that's how they're working through it, And the other thing is, like, we're being real, we're being honest. And that's something I'm really trying to practice is if someone asks me how I'm doing, like, I'm going to tell you how I'm doing. My work, and I think the other hospitals around, we have fabulous employee assistance offerings right now. So I have a friend, he reached out to someone via email during the night 8 a.m. they were waiting for him to talk to them.
Nice.
They're offering Zoom, stuff like that. So it's there. And, this is not the time to think that you're a superhero. I can tell you that the hours before I go into a shift are usually my anxiety time, because I don't know what I'm going to face.
Right.
And I don't know what's different. So I get anxious during that time. And, what I'm doing is I'm working out to help with it.
Which is extremely helpful. So, exercise.
It's helpful, but, I would rather not. But it is helpful. But
I'm going to give you a piece of advice as a non-nurse to a nurse. I don't need to know how old you are because you're young, and that makes me not like you very much. But I would say find a way to love working out as much as you can for the rest of your life, because my saying is that you use it or you lose it.
About 3 years ago, I was having a hard time in my life, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start running, because if I'm a runner and I'm doing races, there can't possibly be any social issues in my life. So I started running, and I signed up for my first race, and it came time to run that. And I called my best friend, and I was like, you know what? Life ain't that bad, and I don't need to do this. And she said to me, she's like, I will see you at the race.
Good.
So,
you have good friends.
Right. I've kept running, and I hopefully will be running my first half marathon in September. I did a 10-miler last July.
Wow, that's amazing.
At the end of that race was my girlfriend Beth standing there waiting for me, just cheering me on. And I just looked at her and said, bring me to the bar now.
That's the best feeling ever, is finishing something like that.
Oh my God. I went around to work for the next month. I can do anything. I am single. I am a nurse. I'm a runner.
I want to finish up. So I know a lot of people are commenting, and we're not commenting back, but someone said that Lisa Kai, if you get me information about the grab bags when you figure everything out, I'd be happy to donate something. That's really nice. Lisa's a regular.
Absolutely.
So we can post that information. And the other thing is, if people want to donate, they can Venmo at Jess Comedy. That is me. Keep that Venmo public. I don't want it to be private. If you, you could also that's a Venmo. So if you're able to Venmo, you could do that. But in the memo, make sure that you put either PVENA or leave a nice comment for a nurse. Donate it in regards for for a nurse or a family member or whatever you want to do. And then that stays public. And then Kai, that goes to you. And I would say we can do that until tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So, and if anything comes in, I'll just forward it to you, which is fine. That's probably the best way to do it. And if not, we could figure out a different way for if people want to get together. The problem is that social distancing, right?
Right.
So for you to do the grab bags, and people to get money to you, can they send you a check?
You could reach out to me on Facebook, just message me. We'll figure out, PayPal, Venmo, send me a check, porch pickup, whatever.
Perfect.
And I'll post progress of what we're doing and how we're going to put the money to good use, because we want to put it back into the community.
Perfect. Nancy, Kai, and all the other medical and other frontline workers, thank you so much for all you're doing. Jess, thanks for doing this and keep us laughing. I'm trying to keep you laughing, but I'm also going to try and make you cry a little bit, because
it's amazing that I have not cried through this. I have
you know what? I'm going through a change in my life right now. I think it's mostly because I haven't worn a bra in 2 months and it's starting to hurt. I'm learning to play hacky sack unintentionally.
Oh, I miss. Oh God.
Yeah, it's not good. That's why I say, like, just keep running, swim, whatever it is that you have to do. Just keep doing.
Moving.
Just keep moving. Just move your body. I'm very grateful that you came on and talked to me and to everybody. And I think the world of you guys. And when this is all done, I will do a free comedy show for you and all of your friends.
I really do want to say thank you to you, especially. I mean, you approached me for this, and I feel like it's been a great outlet to, have some fun and talk about what we're doing in hard times. But, to everyone that supports me and supports all the nurses around me, like, thank you. I say a lot, like, we couldn't do what we're doing without you. And I could not do what now the crying started. I couldn't do what I'm doing without the support that I have. So we might not say it and we might not look appreciative all the time, but we love you guys and thank you for everything.
Well, if you cry, I'm going to cry. So don't do that, okay? Right, well done, Kai. That is not cool. Before we go, I know that you had made a video for the people that you work with, and I wanted to share that. I think it was very sweet and it was very touching. We're going to leave on this note that pink dress. You guys rock. I don't know what the pink dress is, but it means something.
Just her showing love.
Okay. So please don't leave. I want to do you can leave if you want to, but make sure that you please give us some likes. I think I got to figure out how to turn this banner off real quick. You can follow me. I am actually really funny. I'm very inappropriate. And on the actual conversations, half naked conversations with comedians show that I do, I don't wear pants. I don't show you that. And I'm extremely inappropriate and I have really bad language. So I curse a lot. So Kai, I actually went through a whole hour without cursing. I'm so proud of myself right now. I'm
very proud of you. I was a little worried. I'm like, I am part of a professional organization. Well, but we did good.
We did really, really good.
We did good.
So hang out in the green room, okay, and watch the video. I hope that you like it.
Yes.
I changed the music, but you actually made the video. So hang out in the green room, okay? And we'll get to that right now, you guys.
Okay.
Here we go.
As the 2020 president of the Pioneer Valley chapter of the Emergency Nurses Association, I wanted to take a minute and sincerely thank all of you for what you're doing today. Thank you for literally suiting up and showing up during the COVID-19 pandemic. We're doing a lot of hard work, we're exhausted, and I wanted to make a video and take a few minutes to show you guys how much you mean to me and how hard I know that all of you are working. I am a better nurse because I'm surrounded by all of you. Thank you for what you do, and I hope you enjoy the video.